Look around you for a second. Look at your paycheck. Look at your bank account. Look at your credit card balance. Look at the price of rent. Look at the price of groceries. Look at the price of gas. Look at the price of healthcare. Look at the price of education. Now ask yourself one honest question. Why does it feel like no matter how hard you work, you never really get ahead? Why does it feel like every raise disappears? Every bonus vanishes. Every extra dollar gets swallowed. You work more, you stress more, you sacrifice more. And yet, somehow, you stay in the same place, or worse, you fall behind. Most people think this is bad luck. They think, I chose the wrong career. I did not work hard enough. I made bad choices. I should have been smarter. But what if that is not the real reason? What if the problem is not you? What if the system itself is designed this way? Not by accident, not by mistake, not by incompetence, by design. For decades, you were taught one simple story. Go to school, get good grades, get a degree, get a job, work hard, save money, buy a house, retire comfortably. That story worked once. It worked for your grandparents. It worked for parts of your parents' generation. But today, that story is broken. And nobody officially told you. Instead, they kept selling it. They kept advertising it. They kept repeating it. They kept blaming you when it stopped working. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Modern financial systems do not need you to be rich. They need you to be predictable. They need you to borrow. They need you to consume. They need you to depend. They need you to stay inside the machine. A person with no debt is dangerous. A person with savings is independent. A person with options is hard to control. So the system does not reward that. It quietly punishes it. Through inflation, through interest, through fees, through taxes, through rising costs, through stagnant wages, you're not falling behind because you failed. You are falling behind because the rules changed, and nobody warned you. In this video, you are going to see how this system really works, how money flows upward, how risk flows downward, how pressure stays on you, and why escaping it is harder than people think. Because once you see the pattern, you will never see money the same way again. To understand how this system keeps people trapped, you have to understand one word: debt. Not just credit cards, not just loans, not just mortgages, debt as a way of life. From the moment most people enter adulthood, debt is waiting for them. Student loans, car loans, credit cards, personal loans, medical bills, buy now, pay later plans. It starts early. Before you even earn real money, you are encouraged to borrow. You're told, this is an investment in yourself. This is normal. Everyone does it. You will pay it back later. So you sign, you agree, you accept thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, before you even understand interest, before you understand risk, before you understand what it means to owe. And once you owe, your life changes. You cannot quit easily. You cannot take risks. You cannot walk away. You have payments every month. No excuses, no pauses. Miss them and punishment starts. Fees, penalties, higher interest, lower credit score. Your future becomes more expensive. Now think about this. When you owe money, who owns your time? Not you. Your creditor does. Your bank does. Your lender does. Your credit company does. They do not care if you're tired. They do not care if you're burned out. They do not care if you hate your job. They want their payment. On time, every time. So you stay, you tolerate bad work, you tolerate low pay, you tolerate stress, because debt removes your freedom. Then comes interest. Interest is the quiet weapon. It looks small at first, 5%, 10%, 15%. It sounds harmless until you realize what it does over time. You borrow 10,000, you pay back 15. You borrow 50,000, you pay back 80. You borrow 200,000, you pay back 400. You work for years, and much of that work goes to someone else, not to build your life, to service your debt. And here's the part nobody tells you. The system depends on this. Banks do not want you debt-free. Credit companies do not want you independent. Loan providers do not want you finished. They want you revolving. Borrow. Pay. Borrow again. Repeat. Because that is how profit is created, not from rich people, from millions of regular people, locked into monthly payments forever. And once you are inside this cycle, getting out becomes harder every year. Because new costs keep coming, new emergencies, new repairs, new bills, and new surprises. So even when you pay something off, something else replaces it, the trap resets, and most people never escape it. They just learn how to survive inside it, until retirement, if they ever reach it. Most people believe money works in a simple way. They think governments print it, banks store it, people use it. That sounds logical. It is also wrong. Because in the modern world, most money is not printed, it is created, out of nothing, by banks. Here's how it works. When you deposit money into a bank, you think it sits there, safe, waiting, untouched. It does not. The bank takes most of it and lends it out. Again, and again, and again. This is called fractional reserve banking. But do not let the name confuse you. What it really means is this. For every dollar you deposit, the bank can create many more dollars in loans. 10 times, 20 times, sometimes more. They do not need to have that money. They just type numbers into a system. New money appears, and you owe it. Think about that. Banks do not lend their own money. They lend money they create, and then charge you interest on it. It is one of the most profitable systems ever invented. Now look at what this creates. When banks issue more loans, more money enters the economy. More money means higher prices. Higher prices mean inflation. So every time banks expand credit, your savings lose value without anyone asking you. Without anyone warning you, it is a hidden tax paid by everyone to benefit a few. And who controls this process? Not voters, not workers, not families. Financial institutions, central banks, private banks, investment firms. They decide when money is cheap. They decide when money is expensive. They decide who gets access. When times are good, credit flows. Loans everywhere. Easy approval. Low rates. People borrow. People spend. Prices rise. Then suddenly, rates go up. Credit tightens. Loans stop. Now people struggle. Businesses fail. Jobs disappear. Homes are lost. And banks, they survive. They always survive. Because the system protects them. During crises, governments step in with bailouts, with emergency funds, with taxpayer money. Your money. So losses are socialized, profits are privatized. You pay when things go wrong. They win when things go right. This is not conspiracy, this is structure. Built into the system. And it explains something important. Why financial crashes keep happening, why bubbles keep forming, why ordinary people keep losing. Because instability is profitable, fear is profitable, volatility is profitable for those who control money, not for those who earn it. And while you are trying to survive month to month, they are shaping the environment you live in, quietly, legally, relentlessly. Most people think inflation is just prices going up. They think things are more expensive now. That sounds harmless. It is not. Inflation is one of the most powerful wealth transfer tools ever created because it takes from everyone without asking, without announcing, without permission. When prices rise, your money buys less. That is obvious. What is not obvious is how much you are losing. Every year, quietly. Imagine this. You save $10,000. You feel responsible. You feel disciplined. You feel proud. You put it in a savings account. It earns 1%. Sounds fine. Now inflation runs at 5%. That means every year, your money loses 4% in real value. After 1 year, you're poor. After 5 years, much poorer. After 10 years, severely poorer. But nobody sends you a bill. Nobody warns you. It just happens. Now think bigger. Think about salaries. If your wage rises 2% and inflation is 6%, you just got a pay cut, even if your boss called it a raise. Most people never calculate this. They only feel it. At the grocery store, at the gas station, at the doctor, at the landlord. Life feels tighter, more stressful, more fragile. Then comes the official explanation. Supply issues, global events, temporary pressures, unexpected shocks. Sometimes these are true. Often they are excuses. Because the deeper cause is simple. Too much money chasing too few goods, created by credit expansion, by stimulus, by bailouts, by deficit spending. When governments spend more than they collect, they borrow. When borrowing becomes too large, central banks step in. They print, they inject, they inflate, and you pay. Through higher prices, here is the brutal truth. Inflation rewards debtors and punishes savers. If you owe money, inflation reduces what you owe in real terms. If you save money, inflation destroys its value. So who benefits? Governments with massive debt, corporations with cheap loans, financial institutions with assets. Who loses? Workers, retirees, families, small savers, the people who played by the rules, the people who trusted the system. And here is the most dangerous part. Once inflation becomes normal, people adapt. They lower expectations. They accept less. They settle. They stop dreaming of stability. They start dreaming of survival. That is how standards collapse, slowly, quietly, without revolution. And once that happens, rebuilding becomes extremely hard. If inflation is stealing from you, and debt is trapping you, then wages are supposed to save you. That is what people are told. Work hard. Get promoted. Climb the ladder. Earn more. But for millions of people, that never really happens. Yes, salaries rise sometimes, but they rise slowly, carefully, controlled, always behind prices. Look at history. Decades ago, one income could support a family, a house, a car, children, vacations, savings. Today, 2 incomes struggle, even 3 incomes struggle, and still fall short. Why? Because wages are not determined by fairness. They are determined by power. Employers pay the lowest amount they can without losing workers. That is it. Not what you deserve, not what you produce, not what you contribute, what they can get away with. And the system helps them. Global labor markets, outsourcing, automation, gig work, contract jobs, all reduce worker leverage. If you complain, someone else will take your place. If you ask for more, there's a line behind you, so people stay quiet. They accept less. They normalize stress. Then comes the psychological layer. From childhood, you are trained. Be grateful. Be realistic. Do not complain. Do not expect too much. Be happy you have a job. This creates obedience. People stop questioning, stop demanding, stop imagining alternatives. They start blaming themselves. I'm not good enough. I should work harder. I should hustle more. So they work longer hours, take side jobs, build side hustles, sacrifice weekends, sacrifice health, just to stand still. And here's the cruel irony. The harder you run on this treadmill, the more exhausted you become, the less energy you have to escape. The system does not need chains. It uses fatigue, stress, fear, uncertainty. When you are tired, you do not rebel, you comply, you survive. And that is enough. After seeing all this, one question remains. Is escape possible, or is everyone trapped forever? The honest answer is this. Escape is difficult, but not impossible. The people who break free usually share patterns. They understand money early. They question narratives. They learn how systems work. They do not rely on one income. They protect their time. They do not blindly trust. They study. They adapt. They prepare. They know that stability today does not guarantee stability tomorrow. They build buffers, savings, skills, networks, assets, not because they are greedy, because they are realistic. They understand that no system lasts forever. And blind faith is expensive. Most people never reach this stage. Not because they are stupid, because nobody teaches it. Schools do not teach it. Media does not teach it. Employers do not teach it. You're expected to learn it alone, often too late. But awareness is the first step. Once you see how money really works, you stop blaming yourself. You stop chasing illusions. You start thinking strategically, long term. That is the real advantage. Not luck, not shortcuts. Understanding. If this video helped you see the system more clearly, consider subscribing. This channel is about breaking illusions and building awareness, so you can make better decisions in a world that rarely explains the rules.